Happy week 13 and happy Thanksgiving week. I am super excited. We have football Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday this week, which means this is our super special episode on the Thanksgiving DFS slate. We have a free contest up and running with a prize pack this week. So it is on DraftKings and the link is in the description. Head on over and join our free contest this week and let's chat DFS.
Yeah, let's go into DFS for Turkey Day. Thanksgiving slate is probably one of the most fun ones to play. And we're focusing on DraftKings, couple reasons there, but their Millionaire Maker is one of the most fun contests, and it's only $5 on Thanksgiving. So it covers all three games and makes a millionaire. So we're going to focus on it. Let's review our
What
three games.
I was
Go
about to
ahead.
ask first, what's special about Thanksgiving 3 games that I should be thinking about versus when I normally think about a full Sunday slate?
Thanksgiving's fun, where it's hard to think Thanksgiving without NFL football. And really, if you're not sitting there at dinner sweating if Dontavian Wicks is going to catch a bomb touchdown, are you doing it right? But some notes for kind of what makes it different than a normal Sunday slate or even like a showdown. It's almost more similar to the primetime showdown lineups than it is a full Sunday slate because you have just those 3 game sample size. Really anything can happen in those 3 games. And so I've got 3 main tips for Thanksgiving and how to prepare for this 3 game slate. The first is get weird. Crazy things happen in a 1 game sample. If you guys watch the games this weekend, if you're focusing on that 1 game, anything can happen. If we look back to last year, we had great receivers like we had CeeDee Lamb get outscored by Curtis Samuel, even though the Cowboys put up 45 points. So get weird with your lineups, get different is kind of that first thing. The second thing is the order matters. We have breaks in between all 3 games, and it gives you an opportunity to switch out players and adjust your lineups. So if you're sitting there 2 games in and your lineup's about like the 45th percentile, and you're sitting there with the chalky picks of like Josh Jacobs, Achan, you probably just don't have enough to catch up on the field and make money on your lineup. So you can take those players out, swap them with a Christian Watson with high upside, but no one's going to play him as much as a Josh Jacobs, and potentially win and like adjust your lineups there. So we get more information, and especially with the higher scoring game right at the beginning, we'll have a lot of information from that first game and as we go throughout.
Yeah,
The
that's fun.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add on?
So one of these games is going to be like the Cowboys and Commanders from Sunday, and I'm going to go with the storyline that there's going to be a blocked kick, 2 missed field goals, 2 missed extra points, 2 kicks returned for touchdowns, something like that. I'm just going to
S-
make up a story like that. Some of
Something
those
like
stories
that.
on Sunday were like too hard to even make up.
Yeah, we got Dan Campbell and the Lions, so we might have some offensive linemen throwing touchdowns. Who knows what's going to happen on Thanksgiving. So I'm looking
It can
forward
get
to it. We got a battle of the backups too that we'll cover here shortly.
Well,
Yeah, it definitely can get crazy and creative because some of these teams are bad and some of them are missing players. So the teams themselves are going to have to get creative.
Very true.
let's kick it off with the first game of Thursday. Chicago is headed to Detroit. Detroit's favored by 10.5, and the over-under is 48.5. What are y'all thinking
I,
here?
yeah, I'm a little surprised by this 10.5 point line. I mean, I know that Lions like to run it up, but at the same time, the Bears have looked better with the offensive coordinator change. Having Thomas Brown as the offensive coordinator does seem to have made a drastic difference, and they're learning one, how to simplify things for Caleb Williams to make him a better quarterback, and two, how to be more aggressive on the play calling. They have to be walking into this game thinking we have to be as aggressive as possible from the get go. You can't just see if you can hang in this game and stop the Lions. You've got to come out and be aggressive.
Yeah. I think it's been kind of fun to see. They're finally letting Caleb Williams play some hero ball, and it's like he was a number one overall pick for a reason. Let him display those talents. So he's one of my favorite picks for this one. If you're kind of going with the storyline that the Lions are just the classic efficient Lions, they get it done every single which way, and beat you up on the ground with Gibbs and Montgomery, and they're kind of splitting. I think Williams is gonna have to chuck it and be playing from behind. He's gonna be passing a lot, and there's a good opportunity for him to succeed for fantasy, just always being behind like how he did last week. Kind of, they had some garbage time. They thought they were out of the game. A couple things went their way. They sent into overtime. So I think they'll put up enough of a fight for Williams to be in play in these lineups. The other thing I want to mention with him too is he's had a lot more rushing opportunities since that offensive coordinator change, and he's going to be heavily pressured. So Lions got to
Yeah.
Richardson last week. They had a 46% pressure rate. So Williams is going to have to scramble. He's going to have to get outside the pocket and make those big plays happen with his legs.
Yeah, I do love Caleb Williams as well. We have some injuries on the Lions that we'll go through real quick too. David Montgomery left the game against the Colts on Sunday with a shoulder injury. He says he's fine. Team says he's fine. They say he's playing. Just something to definitely monitor. But he's going up against his old team in the Bears. Think there's any like revenge scenario there and he wants a couple touchdowns?
I think so. I feel like they really like giving their players an opportunity to showcase their talents and have them do weird stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if he has a trick play on the goal line kind of written up for him to get that touchdown against his old team that refused to pay him.
Yeah,
So I like that. And
I do
then
too.
the Khalif Raymond injury is also a little interesting. Kind of narrows down that pool of those other options behind Amon-Ra St. Brown.
So it'll be interesting to see what we can make out of this game. I think one of the other questions I was going to ask you is do you like to go with would you do 3 lineups and create that storyline for each one of those lineups?
Yeah,
And
I think especially if you're entering the millionaire competition, so it's 150 entries, and I probably wouldn't suggest going that crazy unless you feel like it, you want to work with an optimizer and get there. But if you want to do like 5 to 7 lineups, you can kind of get different with your lines options. Say you have one lineup, a couple with Gibbs, a couple with Montgomery, a couple with both. And then once you have that information from the Lions game that this was a Montgomery week, he rolled in for those 2 touchdowns, Gibbs didn't end up getting any, and you know it's that Montgomery, you can kind of play it safer with those Montgomery options later on, and then you can switch to some more volatile players with those lineups that are behind. And there's also strong correlation kind of within the game too. So if we're talking Caleb Williams and we like him as an option, who do we want for the bring back? Because we know he's going to have to pass to someone there and make it worthwhile.
yeah, we've got to be stacking him with somebody there and trying to get a little different there. And then we definitely know we like the running backs for the Lions too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move it on.
Yeah, let's chat. The Giants are headed to Dallas. Dallas is favored by 3.5. Over under is 37.5. I don't think normally we would even talk about this game really for DFS in our normal weekly DFS chat.
I don't either. I wish the Giants weren't playing Tommy DeVito. He looks so bad.
He
They
does.
still moved the ball a little bit, but they were in the red zone 3 times and only got points once
I saw
against
Drew
the
Luck
Buccaneers.
coming in for some plays. Was that just a minor injury and they announced DeVito should be good?
It was just a minor injury and he came back into the game. I haven't heard anything yet this week on his status. Maybe they'll just wise up a little bit, but I think or we might see Tommy DeVito.
If we did get an announcement, I think Locke would be interesting. He does scramble a little bit, and he's kind of a wild card, but has some good NFL experience, and he's had games in the past. It's hard to say what was going on in that locker room. I did see Neighbors was pretty pissed about his usage, though. I think the Giants still have a good amount of talent that they want to showcase. You know, they have their rookie receiver with Neighbors, and Tyrone Tracy has looked great as a rookie running back. And this is a very weak Dallas defense. I don't think a lot of people are going to be playing this game. I think this is kind of set up to be the post-dinner nap game. where everyone kind of recovers from the first game and they sleep. But I think it's a great opportunity to get different in your lineups. Throw in a Neighbors, throw in Tracy, or even a tight end for the Giants, depending on who's quarterback, or take Dowdle. I think these will be the lowest rostered running backs on either side, and a good opportunity of these people are still going to play 60 minutes of football, and there's some opportunity for fantasy here.
Even though you said it's the post-dinner nap game, it's still the 4:30 Eastern game. So it's your midday game or mid-game for the day Thursday football slate. So if you put someone in risky, you might be able to make it up in the late game.
Yeah, it's like if you're sitting pretty with you got the Giants or you got the Detroit side right, you got the running back that you needed on that. Maybe Caleb Williams came through with you. Maybe you had a lineup that didn't go with the Bears and they fell on their face. Now you have this middle game to really separate and kind of distinguish where you're at in the field heading into that third game. So if you're actually able to hit on those wild cards in this game, it's going to give you a massive advantage going into that late window.
I feel like this game is either going to be an explosion and we see a lot of scoring and it's going to hit that over, or it will drastically be on the underside and nobody can do anything. But I'm on the side that this one's going to be an actual game.
Yeah, I think so. I think it could be a sloppier game. Maybe we see some turnovers, but those short fields could lead to some
Yeah.
higher points. And I really like the star receivers coming through in the primetime spot. So I think they're both going to be lower rostered for getting a quality receiver in Neighbors and CeeDee Lamb. And I think the backup to quarterbacks will just hyper target them. So I don't even mind if you can fit both of them in. It could be an interesting play.
Well, should we wrap it up with Miami at Green Bay, where Green Bay is favored by 3? Over under is 47.5. So we go from like a moderate scoring over under, a low scoring over under, and then we're gonna have this great game Thursday night.
Well, that's what Vegas is selling us, but I'm not real sure that's what's going to happen. I don't like Miami in the cold. So since the 2015 season, including postseason, Miami's played 24 games where it's been less than 40 degrees, and they've lost 19 of them. If you want to drop that to where it's below 30 degrees, they've played 9 games, and they've lost 8 of those. They've only won 1 game under 30 degrees, and it's going to be about 18 degrees in Green Bay on Sunday or on Thursday night.
I don't think it helps too that they've had no warm up for this. They've had 2 home games in a row, I believe, just nice and warm in tropical Miami, and now they get shipped off to Green Bay for a short week. It's kind of brutal for them, and yeah, I kind of think the trend continues.
They needed a
Yeah, I
cool
don't
down,
like
not a
this.
warm up.
They did. Maybe
And
they got some ice baths to prep for this game, but I don't think it'll be enough. I really like Jacobs to roll. I think it's hard to kind of go back to him just because he was so efficient last week with 3 touchdowns.
yeah,
But if I just ignore that and take that out, I really love this spot. Everything's lining up for him to crush. He's at home. They're favorites. And I don't think Miami wants to tackle him 20 times in 18 degrees.
I don't think so either. And he just looks really strong, and the Packers love giving him the ball right now. I feel like they're going to get up and they're going to hand it off to Jacobs again, and he's going to dominate in this game. It's also on the Miami side really obvious that Tyreek Hill isn't Tyreek Hill, that he is playing through an injury. He,
Yeah.
in their win, didn't even look good. So without him, now we're really depending on Devon Achane, and we saw McCaffrey didn't have a great day against the Packers.
Yeah, I like Achan. He's just been so consistent in getting it done because he's heavily involved in the receiving game and just the lead running back, lead running back. But I'm more standing on the side that if we're saying the story that Green Bay is crushing, we like Green Bay and the 3-point spread, then Jacobs and even that kind of dart throw, we know Love plays a riskier style, so they've been trying to get those deep connections with Christian Watson going. They hit a couple weeks ago. Christian Watson dropped a 70-yard touchdown that hit him in the
Yeah.
face mask last week. So wouldn't be surprised if they go back to him. He's kind of their deep threat. And they also have Dontavian Wicks as a true wild card if you are way behind and you need someone that can take a couple catches and make a great day for it. I think he's the last name that I'd kind of throw out there.
All right, so let's get into trying to build something here. We need to decide which one of these storylines or games we're going to target. It seems like we're both agreeing on the Chicago side of the ball. I could be talked into Cooper Rush, but I don't think you're a fan of Cooper Rush, but I could definitely get different with the Cowboys and Rush.
So
Which
if you
one you
bring
want to
up,
go with?
I say on this one, let's start with our quarterback. How did the pricing look for the different options? So Goff is our top end option, and the true value is down at DeVito, but at 4,500. This one I
Yeah.
haven't seen a tough time kind of making the savings work. I kind of like the middle options for this one, either saying Miami figures it out and then Tua, or going with Caleb Williams is just going to have so much volume and they're going to be passing from behind. Has been my two favorite ways to build these Thanksgiving lineups.
Let's do so the true interesting one, if you want to do like something crazy, true shot in the dark, is we could just go, hey, Drew Lock's going to play and make a lineup down that path, which I might do. I'm definitely going to watch it. Let's don't do it on the show, though.
Yeah, especially with when they'll have to announce those starting lineups and injuries. It might be once that first game's already in play and people have their quarterbacks lined up. So
It could be. So, yeah, I do find it very interesting that DeVito and Locke are priced exactly the same. Like, we don't know. They're both bad. All right. Well, let's go with Caleb Williams then. And we're going down that line that Bears are playing from behind, but they actually can move the ball and do something great with it.
if we're going with that story, I think we're kind of required to have both a line and the pass catching option for Williams, at least one or two, because we need them to be heavily behind for Caleb Williams to work in that first place.
Yeah, I agree. I like Keenan Allen. I can go something different with Odunze. I could do both Keenan Allen and Odunze. Do you like either one of them?
I like Odunze. I think he's kind of that deeper threat that, if Caleb Williams is getting pressured, he has to scramble and then chucking it down the field. I think their connection might work better.
I think we have to go back with Montgomery and assume going against his old team, he's getting the touchdowns and not Gibbs.
I like Montgomery. Gibbs got the 2 last week, so we're flip-flopping back and forth.
But monitoring
And
that injury status, we might need to
Yeah.
sub Gibbs out at the last minute.
yeah.
Yeah, he's 1,000 more. Yeah, you can probably do that.
The other
So
name
what
I want to
else?
mention from this game is getting Jamison Williams for the receiver. And kind of the story with that one is that Jalen Johnson, the Bears cornerback, has been that true difference maker cornerback. He held Justin Jefferson to 2 catches for 27 yards last week, but they really funneled all the passes to those secondary options. And I think Jamison Williams could really thrive getting the workload.
I can go with that. We'll put him in there. So we got 4 pieces from this first game. We good with that?
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
I'd be concerned if we started adding more that we wouldn't be able to respond and make
Have those
changes
swap
throughout the
options.
day, have those
Yeah.
swap options and take the risks.
Are we going to go that the Giants Dallas is completely dead, or we think a couple people shine through?
I think somebody shines through in that game. The game that I think is completely dead is at least on the Miami side.
Yeah, I'd kind of be good to lock in Josh Jacobs. I feel confident about him. I think he'll be a running back you'll need.
I can go with that. All right, so now we got Jacobs locked in there. Wide
And this is
receivers.
DraftKings, this is DraftKings, so we want a wide receiver in that flex spot due to how
We
Yeah, it's more
don't really
valuable with that PPR
care.
option.
On the wide receivers, there are some that I like paying up for, but I think they're back in the Cowboys game. So either Neighbors or CD Lamb, if we have enough money, we can hold off on that spot and go to tight end and see what we've got there if you all want to.
Yeah, let's go scout out the tight end.
I mean, the obvious one here is Janu Smith. He is the top tight end in this game, but I don't know that we want to do that. I don't mind going Komet. What do you think about Komet?
I think
Save
Komet's
a lot
interesting.
of money.
I also think Schoonmaker got a ton of value for the
Yeah.
Cowboys, so wouldn't mind him. But really, that tier 3, tier 2 tight end is what I'm looking at. Komet, Schoonmaker, and even Wright, the backup tight end for Detroit, got some designed plays. I don't think I like him in this spot with how we've kind of built the lineup so far, but if you want another option to switch to.
I wonder what Ferguson's status is. Ferguson, concussions, a little more of a long shot to play Thursday. All right, why don't we go with Schoonmaker then?
I
It
like
looks like
that, yeah.
Ferguson's going to be out. Let's go with Schoonmaker. We'll bring him in. Then if we'll see how much money we've got going on, but that would definitely be a situation where you may be able to go back and sub somebody in after that first game if you were looking to get a little crazier or more reliable if you wanted Jonnu Smith. Defense. I could go Cowboys or Packers. Those are pretty much my defenses that I want to play.
I think I like the Packers just in the cold, and they've looked good.
They're my
They
favorite.
kind of shut down San Francisco.
So we've got 13,700 left, averaging 68.50 a player, and we've got a wide receiver in our flex spot. Do you like Neighbors? Do you like CD Lamb?
I think I'd like Neighbors.
Let's go Neighbors. I don't think anyone's going to be playing him. He's looked so awful, and DeVito's look so bad. We can cross our fingers that we get Drew Lock in there.
Yeah. We're just hoping he takes one of those slant routes, kind of like a Jamar Chase all the way down the field and makes it. So what are we left with for salary?
So we're left with 6,600. And we could go Dowdle. I don't mind him. Dowdle and Neighbors, or we even look at swapping it and go Tracy and CD Lamb instead.
Yeah, I do like those options. I think I would prefer the Tracy CD Lamb route if we have enough money for that, just because, Dallas is at home. They did win last week somehow. Maybe they want to showcase their top option, kind of have some pep rally.
Yeah, we can afford it. So we got both of them in there, CD Lamb and Tracy, in at our flex, and we still have 600 left over. So both of those are plays. I mean, you could definitely swap that back. So you could play Neighbors and Rico Dowdle instead of those two. The one thing that we don't have going on here, well, we've got Josh Jacobs in for Green Bay. So you could definitely go back and swap in a wide receiver for the Packers as well to get different and create some different lineups on top of that, even assuming what we've done with the Bears in this.
So it looks like from the lineup we've created, we're saying the early game storyline, Bears get up with Montgomery and Williams, and Caleb Williams is chucking it, and Komet and Odunze end up bringing back and having pretty good games. Then we're kind of following the storyline that it's a lower scoring game for the Giants-Dallas. Not too many options come through, but CeeDee Lamb and Schoonmaker are involved enough in the passing game, and Tyrone Tracy is efficient enough that it's a competitive game throughout. They're both playing the full 60 minutes, and they do enough for their price tag. Yeah. Then the last game, we're kind of heavy on the under. We don't think Miami's going to show up, and this game ends quicker than everyone thinks, and just that Packers defense and Josh Jacobs on the ground get it done.
I like it. I'm entering it. We're in. We'll see how we do.
Well, good luck, y'all. I didn't hear nearly as many disagreements between the two of you as I have over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how everyone's lineups come out for our free contest this Thursday. We'd love to have everyone join us for our free contest. The link is in the description. We have a prize pack this week, which I am super excited about. And happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy
Enjoy
Thanksgiving.